All right, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Build Your Legacy, Season 3, Week 8. I believe it's Week 8, Power Rankings. This is like our 7th or 8th, maybe even ninth edition of doing the Power Rankings. Obviously, we have top 25 in the game, but the Power Rankings is fun to do. I'm going to go ahead and put the link out really quick, so that way we get more people in here, and then we'll get started.
Yep. Should get a good amount of people in here.
Obviously, we don't have Brandon here today, so I'm here with fellow Commissioner Sterling, Washington State, formerly known as San Diego State. Some battles.
Yes, sir.
Previous seasons. So getting some more opinions in the rankings.
Yep.
All right, so
See
we're gonna go ahead and
up.
What's up?
See where these boys stack up.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. What's up, BYL? What's up, Zach? We're gonna go ahead and get started so that way we can get this on the road. All right, so let me go ahead and put this up with this. I really hope I didn't do it backwards. I guess we'll find out with the first slide. All right. Those of you guys know, we lost two people. We lost Notre Dame and we lost Georgia State. Georgia State was a little inactive. I'm not sure what was going on. We were tagging them. Didn't really get a response from him. And then Notre Dame's connection being in college wasn't sustainable. So he said, go ahead and boot him and he'll join back later. But let's get right into it. Number 30, we have Western Kentucky. Speaking of the devil, I know he was just in here. Obviously not having a great season. He started off in number 24, moved back 6 spots, 1-6, 0-4. I know he just won again, but obviously we've only gone through week 8, so that win didn't count. But Zach is looking to somehow make his way up to bowl eligibility. Obviously, he has a lot of work to do. This is his 3rd year with Western Kentucky. I know he said previously he wants to leave, but I feel like he has 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So hopefully he can kind of get his stuff together with the Hilltoppers.
All right, 29 here. We have UTSA, Texas San Antonio. I don't have a whole lot of insight on this one. I didn't realize, and it's kind of the theme with a lot of these teams in the bottom, I guess the bottom of the rankings. No offense, but I had no idea y'all were doing this bad. But I watched some of y'all's games, and it's like they seem competitive. I think he played UAB week 1, and it's like the score I feel like didn't reflect. I feel like he was in that, but definitely going to try to fight to go undefeated and get some bowl eligibility going.
Number 28, we have Akron. Obviously, Justin Strickland. I think this is the biggest shocker on the list. This is a guy who won his conference in year 1, self-proclaimed himself as the king of Ohio. Obviously, this is not where he wants to be, being 1-6. This is a top 5 user in this league, so I don't know what is going on in Akron. I don't know if the media is getting to him. I don't know if he's lost the locker room, but Coach Strickland is definitely a guy who should not be 1-6. He shouldn't even be 500. I mean, if we're being honest, this is a be careful if you play him. Be careful now. This is a guy who I really don't have an explanation for why he's 1-6. I would love to hear him explain. I know he has his recaps, so it's frustrating. I think he said in his recap he's never even been 0-3 in his life. And I believe that. Like I said, I've had some battles with Justin. So not sure if he's going to stay at Akron this year, if he's going to get up out of there. I'm not sure if the 80's talking about his job. So he's going to have to figure out something. But at number 28, we have Justin Strickland and Akron.
Yeah, this is the theme in the bottom tier. This is the job security tiers here. Hold up, my screen just went away. My bad. But we do have Coastal Carolina here, Coach Andy P. He's 2-6 overall, 2-3 in conference. I know he said he was going to promise us 8 dubs, double what he had last year, as he doubled his first season. It's not looking like that's going to happen, but again, you can still fight for bowl eligibility. You just got to lock in, and hopefully he can rattle off some conference victories here. I think even if he doesn't double like he said he would in his preseason interview, I think a bowl game is very honorable in his case.
Definitely. Number 26, we have Kent State, another commissioner, Trey Danforth. Started at 28, obviously moved up to 26, 2 spots. 2-5, he's winless in conference. So that is, a tough situation to be in, moving over from Tulane. Obviously, Kent State is not as a good program as Tulane is, but still trying to fight, get the bowl eligibility. He would need to go 4-1 in order to do that. So it's going to be a very tough out in order to, get that feat done. But he's had some good seasons. I think he went 9-4 the year one, and then he went like 2-10 or something last year. So it's not like it's not impossible, or it's not impossible. I think he can get it done, but just got to rally, get her some wins, and kind of get some momentum.
All right. Next year at number 25, we do have yours truly, Mr. Duck fan Dane Toledo. He's 2-5 overall, 0-3 in conference. Another one where it's like any given Sunday, he started off in the league having great seasons, and it's just kind of been like a slow decline that we kind of seen. I don't know what it is that's going on over there in Ohio and Toledo, but he's got to lock in. I've heard him in a lot of his interviews just kind of talking down, but I think if he could just get one win to get that confidence up, I know it's in him to beat a lot of good users that maybe he wouldn't on paper be expected to beat. So we got Toledo at 25.
24, we have Hawaii. He started at number 20 in the preseason rankings. This is Coach Desmond. Moving back 4 spots, 3-5, 1-3 in conference. Obviously, he's not in a position where he could probably win his conference this year, but he's still in a really good spot to get to a bowl game. He just has to finish 3-1. Now, that may sound difficult, but when you win 1 or 2 games and you just got to go 1-1 at the end, it's really not that bad. This is another guy who's right around the 500 mark through the first 2 years. Another guy who says that he doesn't want to leave his school. This is a program he wants to build for the long haul, so I respect that. Just got to continue to bring in those Hawaii kids. Don't let them get off island, and keep getting the wins and piling it up for the Warriors.
All right. At 23, we do have UNLV. Obviously, one of the more polarizing teams and users in this league. I think his strategy, from a play calling standpoint, first of all, running a triple option is working better for him. As again, it's just been like a slight progression every year. I can see him. I know the season hasn't gone exactly the way he's wanted to, but I've seen him attack every game the same way. He's going to tell you he's going to beat you, whether he does that or not. I think he has the ability to hang with just about anybody in here. It's just the key plays and certain decisions, but he's been tweaking his game. I think it's worked so far. He's just got some work to do. But we got UNLV here at 23.
22, we have Western Michigan. This is the former San Jose State user. He started off this season at number 32, obviously was dead last in the power ranking. He was dead last in the power ranking heading from year 1 and year 2. He's had some very good progression, 3-4, 2-3 in the Sun Belt. Obviously moving over from the Mountain West, moving up 10 spots. He's had some really good success. So wanted to see how kind of he progresses. I know he had some really good commits at San Jose State, wasn't able to use them because of being fired, but it doesn't really look like that matters. I mean, he's on pace to be right around 500, and I don't think he was around 500 either the previous season. So he might have found something here at Western Michigan, something to build. He's right in the middle of the pack in that conference, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he finishes his season for sure. I know he knocked off Ohio State early on in the year, so that was a very big win for his confidence.
With no sin. 21 here, we have Buffalo. And hey, shout out to Buffalo, another big mover. Started the season off not too well. I think it was just kind of still in a slump from last year, just kind of carried over into the season, but he's rattled off a few good wins. I like the way he plays. It's just he's not going to get ahead of himself even when he's behind in the score. He's just going to continue to play his game and stay disciplined in that matter. I know it's been said a lot that a lot of people, if you go down, they're just kind of going to get away from their game plan and get out of character. But what he's been doing, it seems to be working so far. So, 2-3 in conference is not ideal. I believe he's in the American?
He's in the Sun Belt.
Sun Belt. So, yeah, so that'll be tough. But, again, 2 games get you into a bowl, and I think that's very commendable, especially coming from last year. So big improvement for Buffalo.
Number 20, we have Liberty. Obviously won his conference last year. Started off in the top 10 in the preseason rankings at number 8. Terrible year as to his standards. I think I can speak for him when I say that. Definitely not where he wants to be. He is fighting to become bowl eligible. He's without Caden Salter this year. Had him the first 2 seasons, and he's starting to see the impact of not having that 95 overall quarterback. Yeah. I know he said multiple times he's ready to get out of Liberty. This is not where he wants to be. So he's looking to kind of, cement himself somewhere else. He was able to win a conference championship with them. So at the end of the day, he's had success at this program. even though he's heading into a down season, into a downswing. Still got to take your hat off to him because it is hard to sustain a high level of success in this type of league when you have these type of teams. So Liberty sits at 12 right now with still room to improve.
Yep. Next we got Georgia Southern. Again, this is a little middle part of the rankings. We got some movers, man. Plus 11 for Coach Edgar Moe. Big improvement. Like I'm just kind of surprised, honestly, like in a good way. Like I think year one, he showed a lot of promise. Obviously being new to this whole idea of being in competitive leagues. See how tough it is. He saw how tough it is to sustain victory, to sustain success. But I think he's starting to catch his bearings. He's in a good conference that suits him. With a tough team to use, and he's balling with them. 4-3, 3-1 in conference. He's very much like in position to make a run at the conference. Hopefully, he can stay consistent. And hopefully get in there. But at the very least, I see a bowl game for him. But I know he's shooting for much more.
Number 18, we have Michigan. This is a massive, massive disappointment for Coach Al. Obviously, moving over from App State to Michigan, he didn't want to go there to begin with. But, with a job offer like this, it's very hard to decline. And I think it goes to show that, these cream of the crop programs, when they come calling your name, it's hard to decline that offer. So those of you guys saying who, you never want to leave your school, it's going to be hard when a top 5 to 10 program asks you to come be your coach. Okay. You come into the season with top 5 expectations. He was number 5, and it has not lived up. 4-4, 3-2 in conference, sitting at 500 with a very good team. Obviously, Coach Al is a very good user. He's won a conference championship in here. He's given me one of my few losses that I have. So this is a very good user. I'm not sure what his future has in store with the Michigan program or if he's going to leave, but this is definitely not what we expect out of him and not what he expects out of himself, I'm pretty sure. So he moves back 13 spots to number 18. Still has a potential to have a decent season if he can reel off these last 3 to 4 wins and become an 8-win team heading into bowl week. But definitely, I can speak for him when I say this is a disappointing season as a first-time, Power 5 coach, I should say.
Yep. Next year we have UTEP, who jumped up 5 spots. They are 5-3 overall, 3-2 in conference. I'll do a little more research. I didn't see exactly where the other loss came from. Obviously, it was out of conference, but a really good user. Is doing all right in the season. I know, obviously, like those 2 conference losses are a little tough, but I see his trajectory. I've been seeing his recaps. He's definitely on the trajectory. Oh yeah, he knocked off a good one. He knocked off a good one, but yeah, he's looking to finish off the season strong.
All right, moving on. We have Nebraska at 16. Seems like we're getting to another one of those themes where you have these Power 5 coaches who took over these very, very good and talented rosters. Another guy with the top 6 prediction and projection, I would say, and moved back 10 spots, 4-3, 3-1 in conference. Still controls his own destiny at the end of the day. He's 3-1 in conference. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong here. I think Illinois is undefeated in conference, which we'll talk about him soon. But if Nebraska is able to win out and finish 7 or 8-1 in conference, he has the potential to get to a conference championship game in Indianapolis in the Big Ten. So this is not something that's out of reach for him. Obviously, there's no more room for error being 4-3. You need to win out if you want to make a playoff run with the Cornhuskers. But again, this is another one of those teams that is a blue blood that hasn't really been relevant in real life. So this is a fun rebuild for him, I'm pretty sure. He's tied for second in the conference. Yeah, so he has to win out. He just has to continue to win, put wins together, gain momentum, keep chugging along. And I think he's able to do it. He has a really good team, a really good roster around him. Looking forward to see what Coach Fred Porter does with this team. Obviously, it's just year 1, so you can't hit the panic button just yet, but he does move back 10 spots to number 16. Yep, I don't know why the picture's not there, but
yeah, you can picture it. No pun. But 15 here, we have NC State Coach Trill. Definitely one of my favorite people to play against for sure. He was actually my first opponent in the first game this season, but really good user. He's sitting at 4-3, which obviously is not ideal. He's somebody who I expect to be in the top 25 in that AP poll every year. But I think he just had a rough start to the season. I mean, he had a gauntlet. I mean, he played me. He
Me.
played Steven. I don't remember who the other game was, but he is 3-0 in the ACC. I think that's a very winnable conference for him. No offense to Nico, not
There's
even
no one in
over there
there.
no more. So it's his for the taking. Just got to knock off the CPU, bully them a little bit. Um, he should get a bid for the playoffs.
At number 14, we have App State. Coach Red Smith, formerly known as the FIU Panthers. Very, very surprising, in my opinion. Obviously, in the Sun Belt right now, he moves up 9 spots from the 23 spot. 5-2, 3-1 in conference. Another guy who controls his own destiny in his conference. He inherited a very, very good team. Obviously, we just talked about Coach Al moving from App State to Michigan. App State had back-to-back top 25 recruiting classes. Very good coordinator. So I think Red Smith really came into his kind of dream scenario being one of the best group of 5 teams, and it's showing. I think he's on pace for 8 or 9 wins right now, on pace for a conference championship appearance. Very excited to see how the Sun Belt shakes out with the few teams that are, in the running for that conference championship game. But hopefully App State and Coach Red Smith continues to, move up the leaderboards here because he deserves it. Like I said, he moved to a very solid school, and the fruits of that labor is showing. So excited to see how he finishes this season.
All right, here at 13, we're getting.
I never changed a picture, but that's not a big deal.
Yeah, well, we know this is Rutgers, formerly known as Oregon State. Obviously, we have some stuff happening, but I would say the move is looking good for him from Oregon State. It might have been a blessing in disguise. I know he really liked that team, but sitting at 5-2, 2-2 in conference, that is going to be tough. I know he took some tough losses to CPUs. I don't know if he lost to a user. I think both of his losses might be to a CPU. I could be wrong. But I know one of them might have been like Ohio State. I think he actually lost to Oregon State, which is funny enough. They got a little revenge.
He might have, yeah.
I could be wrong. That might have been like his most recent game. But again, good user. He does need some things, some people to lose in the Big Ten for him to make that title game. But I think if he wins out, which I'm on his schedule, so I'm gonna try to make that not happen. He could still somehow sneak into the playoffs. So at least his playoff journey is still should be in his hands.
Number 12, we have Arizona, Coach Alberto. Obviously moving over from Charlotte. Who was he at? He went from James Madison to Charlotte to now Arizona.
Yep.
Arizona is a very good job offer, obviously. 6-2, 2-2 in conference. Had 2 really tough losses to CPU. I still play Arizona. I do know, obviously, being in the Big 12, the kind of landscape we have right now in the Big 12 is very, very hectic. I think there's 3 or 4 undefeated teams still and like 3 or 4 one-loss teams. So Arizona needs a lot in order for him to make the Big 12 title game. Now, kind of like what you said with Rutgers, he can still make the playoffs. If he wins out and goes 10-2, even if he doesn't make the Big 12 title game, I think he gets in at 10-2. But obviously, you do want to win your conference. That's a very big accomplishment. So I'm pretty sure he's still looking for some dominoes to fall his way. I know we match up here in the next 3 weeks, I think. So that'll be a very good game. The only 2 users in the Big 12. So he definitely needs that win. I need that win. So I'm looking forward to that. But he's here at number 12.
All right, number 11 here, we have LSU Coach Bryce. Obviously, the drop. I think he took 2
fair sim losses.
Yeah, fair sims. He was all the way up at number 2. He could arguably be number 1, and I would put him there just because his team is very good. On top of him being a good user as well. I don't know how the SEC is really looking right now as far as him having 2 losses. I mean, I'm sure it's not ideal. It's not really a good look. But again, somebody that he has to win out, but he could definitely make the playoffs. I've seen him get in and out of the top 25, but I believe he's in like the 20s or something right now. So he just keeps winning, which I know he can. He had a lot of good user games in the beginning of the season. He beat Liberty, beat Illinois,
Michigan,
beat
I think.
Yeah, and UNLV. So he had 4 to start the season off. And again, just some CPU L's that weren't him actually playing, but look to him to make some noise, man. The LSU Tigers, they're humming right now.
Top 10. Here we go. Number 10, we have Marshall, Coach Ajimi Becton, moving up 11 spots from number 21. What's going on, Leo? I believe you were number 19 or 21. 21, I think. So I think you moved up like 10 spots or 9 spots,
Yeah,
something like that.
21,
So
21.
keep balling, man. But at number 10, we have Marshall, 5-2, 3-1 in conference. I feel like every time I get on this live, I've advocated for him as a coach and as a user and said that if you get Ajmi on the right day, he can beat you no matter who you are. And I think he's showing it this year, being 5-2, 3-1 in conference, moving up 11 spots, has momentum, needs one more game for bowl eligibility. I know that's not what he wants. He wants to keep winning. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how that conference shakes out. I know he's in the running for the conference championship appearance right now. But we have seen Ajimi towards the end of season start to fold up and not continue playing that good brand of football. So hopefully he can keep everything humming, get to 9 to 10 wins, make a conference championship appearance, and get that first conference championship, man.
Oh man. All right, number 9 here. We're getting into some nitty gritty. We got Colorado State, who moves up. Great user. He's been balling over there in the Mountain West. There's some big dogs over there. It's good to see them carrying on the tradition with him, Rice, and Texas State. Now, Rice and Texas State have already had their matchup. We saw how that went. It was a good game. Not to mention, obviously, it's not counted in this week's power rankings, but him and Rice did just play. And Rice did win that game, so he's actually now sitting at 2 losses in the conference.
I think he has 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
I think he's 5-3. I could be wrong, but I think we went through week.
He still has 2 losses in conference though. After that,
who? If somebody's on the game, can somebody please check Colorado State's record? But continue, Sterling. I'm sorry.
Rice in Nevada, where
he has 3 now. He has 3.
Okay, three total losses, but I think 2 in.
It may be 2 in conference, yeah.
2 in conference, which is good for him because then it's going to set up a tiebreaker between him and Brandon and Texas State if he manages to win that game.
So he does still have to play Brandon.
He does. I think they're the last game of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Or second to last. Might be
a big game. Very big game.
And it's going to be a big one. It's going to determine. It could determine who goes because even if he wins, he could still lose a tiebreaker. But hey, man, gonna be a great game, man. I'm excited to see how it shakes out, man. Good to see the continuing the Mountain West dominance.
Alrighty, at number 8, we have yours truly. We have Sterling here, Coach Sterling with Washington State. Obviously was a top 3 user coming off of a national championship appearance last year with San Diego State, so not with Washington State, but he moves over to WSU. I'm going to say this is not what you wanted, and I'm sure that you would agree, being 5-2. But same thing I said with Nebraska. I think just Nebraska, everything's still in front of you. You're 3-1 in conference, so it doesn't really matter. You go 10-2 and you go 8-1 or 7-1 in conference, however many conference games you got. You're going to be in Indianapolis playing against whoever is the other participant in the Big Ten title game. So really just got to lock in. Obviously, 5 games left, no room for error. I'm going to let you kind of give your little spiel on your team, though, before we move on to the next one.
Okay. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, obviously, the 2 losses that I have, I would never make an excuse. If I took an L, I took an L. It is what it is. First one was a really, really good game against Shawnee and UAB, which y'all are going to see him coming up here soon. We're getting to it. And then the second one, I was outmatched against Wisconsin, but had a lot of chances to score. I feel like that's obviously uncharacteristic for me. I can't really say that because I was at the same spot last year. I was actually 3-2 in conference last year. Didn't make the conference game, but made the playoffs. Right now, the team is we're ranked number 9, I believe, right now. So, and we just beat Illinois. So, that's a big one. Obviously, now there's no undefeated teams in the Big Ten. So, obviously, fight for that conference spot. But, I mean, I've showed in the past that I don't need to make conference to go to the playoffs. But, obviously, I don't want to get in like that. So, just got to win out. That's all it is to it.
Go ahead. You got it.
All right, here we have Utah State. Hey, I'm pulling for this guy, man. I'm really like impressed, man. Coach, shout out Coach Kelvin, man. He was trying to be my op so bad season 1, but I was just trying to show love the whole time, man. But he really turned this team around, bro. 7-1, 5-0 in conference is crazy, and his one
And he's
loss
actually 8-1 now, by the way.
8. Come on, man. He's just. I think he found his. I mean, he's always had his identity. He's gonna run the football, really well. He always has that. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. But he always ran the ball. He knows how to recruit these running backs. I think once the team comes together, I think he said he was staying in Logan, which I think is admirable. He just ended up moving up to a Power Four conference. But yeah, man, shout out Coach Kelvin. He's doing big things over there. Look, no bias, but I hope he wins the conference, and I think he has a really good chance to do so.
And he is the highest ranked Sunbelt user on this list. So he is the highest ranked Sunbelt user on this list. At number 6, we have Illinois. Coach Dev Rufus, we just talked about him. Obviously, we made these rankings before the loss to Washington State, but moved up from one spot at number 7. 5-2. He was perfect in conference up until yesterday night, I think, last night. So obviously, he's still in a position to make the conference title game. The Big Ten is going to get very, very tight here soon with Nebraska, Washington State, and Illinois. I'm not sure what Oregon's looking like. I'm not sure what Ohio State, Penn State is looking like. I know Michigan's kind of slowly fading. Rutgers is still in the mix there with 2 losses in conference. So very interested to see who gets that, that automatic bid from the Big Ten, because I think it's big time with having 5 users there. Very excited to see how it shakes out.
All right, number 5 here we have Coach Brandon Morgan, Texas State, your very own head commish. 7-2 overall, 6-1 in conference. I mean, I've always seen nothing but good things from this Texas State team. I just think in the past, there's been different reasons for different turbulence. I think you just had a lot of close games against good users. And sometimes it just comes down to that. Like, you could be really good, play really well, and it just comes down to a few plays. But it looks like the ball is starting to roll more in his direction. Had a tough loss against Rice. And then I don't remember we lost in the beginning of the season, but
Michigan by 1 point.
Okay, yeah. So nonetheless, it's gonna be a tight one for the Mountain West title. I don't have an expectation for who's gonna be in there, but it's gonna
3
be
teams: Colorado State, Rice, and Texas State.
That's what it's gonna come down to. So Texas State here at 5.
Alrighty. At number 4, we have USF. Coach Westside moving over from Middle Tennessee State to Mizzou in the SEC to now South Florida. Moves up 13 spots, 5-2. He is perfect in conference. I know him and UAB still need to play, if I'm not mistaken. So that game should be. He says, "Stop cap, Sterling." You know who house that is.
Hey, I gotta see it, man.
I know he's looking forward to that matchup. We could be looking at a potential rematch, back-to-back games, USF and UAB for the American Conference Championship. So unless Ajimi can kind of sneak his way in, knock some off, I'm stepping on next if my QB was like yours. But yeah, USF here moving up from number 17 into the top 5. So shout out to Coach Westside.
Yes, sir. Shout out to that man. And then here we go, man. The man of the hour, Mr. Controversial. I said somebody else was more polarizing. UNLV, that's cap. This is the most polarizing man in the league at this point. Grateful to have the guy, but he's 6-1 right now overall. 3-1 in conference. Again, a part of that Wild Wild West. Right now, he's looking to be sitting at the top. As he has the head-to-head over Texas State. But at the end of the year, all the chips are going to be pushed in the middle of the table, and that's what it's going to come down to. Like I said, I love that that there's like a level of competition that's still there. He's fighting for a playoff spot at the same time. I think he's 15, 16 or something like that, 14.
Yeah, I think he's number 15 right now.
15. I mean, and that's great. So, I'm just excited to see how everything shakes out, man. Yeah, Daryl Brady, man, he put that jersey on. That was tight in the mud, but hey, Rice at 3.
Yeah, and he obviously came in at number 4, so he had top 5 expectations, and he's lived up to that hype. So, shout out to Rice. At number 2, Boise State. Myself, obviously, I started off at number 1. Had the tough loss on the road at Virginia Tech, in overtime. Missed the game-winning field goal off the upright, doinked it. So that's where that loss came from. Sitting good in conference right now. I said earlier the Big 12 conference is very, very wide open right now. 3 or 4 teams undefeated. 3 or 4 teams with 1 loss. Then you still got Arizona fighting to, claw his way back into it. We still have to play. So got to keep taking care of business. I think I'm 8-1 now, if I'm not mistaken. 8-1 and 6-0 in conference. I could be wrong, but something like that. I know I got BYU after we advance. So just got to keep taking care of business.
Yep. And then at number 1, who else, man? Coach Sean Saban, man. Man, I mean, this really turned his program around, showing no signs of stopping. Every time I look up, I feel like he's putting 50 to 60 on somebody and then telling them good game, lying to their face. But he's on a roll. Who's gonna stop him is the question. I personally don't see it happening in the regular season. It's gonna come down to those playoffs, man. But shout out to him. True definition of a program builder in his second year in this league. I mean, I didn't expect anything less. But he's gonna put on some entertaining football come December and January. So yeah, look out for UAB, man. Number 1.
Most definitely. Hopefully he's able to continue that, get himself his first conference championship title in BYL and the American. I know he previously told me it depends who comes calling, but he is fully anticipating staying at UAB and continuing to build. I think he has like an 88 overall team. He actually signed 2 5-stars so far this season, halfway through. So he's definitely building something in Birmingham. So keep on the lookout for Coach Sean Saban. Is there anything you want to give to the people before we head out of here, Sterling?
Man, all I can say, man, is just keep it up, man. I know you guys are having a lot of fun with it. It shows in the activity. And when I'm saying activity, I'm not even talking about just playing the game. Y'all could just play your games and go about your day, but we in there talking, starting fights and whatnot. But it's all fun. I think this is what the league is all about. As much as we're building legacy, it's cool to build relationships too. So I just appreciate y'all for rocking. The fact that we got people in here commenting on the live stream, could be doing whatever you want. So this league is gonna go as you guys go. And whatever you guys put into it is what we're going to get out of it. But this is great. So this is better than anything we've done. Madden, whatever. So keep it up, y'all.
Most definitely. But we will see you guys. What's today? Today's what, Wednesday? So we'll see you guys on Sunday. We'll do another power ranking show Sunday, which would obviously add week 9, week 10, week 11 at minimum. Maybe even week 12, depending on how fast we move. So that'll be the final rankings for this season. And then we'll obviously head into off season. So thank you guys so much for rocking with us. If you didn't watch the whole video, make sure you go to the back and